Alright, a wildly coked up Conor McGregor's back on the loose once more. Right, this video is by ITP MMA Live. Alright, like, comment, and subscribe. Support Dwayze on Blaze. Let's go. Let's check in with Conor.
Michael Perry, the king of violence, making his return. A man that, paved the way in the sport and rose up and done incredible things. Then he made an error and went a different way. A big mistake in my opinion, but now he's back. If you don't perform, you're gone. You can go back to those exhibition bouts and those misfits with the put on the big gloves. We'll part ways, but I'm confident you'll show up and do your thing, and I'm excited to see it.
Alright, sorry for not uploading over the last week. I was on a work trip. Anyways, Conor McGregor just did another BKFC press conference, and personally, I feel like he kind of made a fool of himself. And not like in a, oh, he's so coked up, look at how funny he's acting sort of way, but more so he made it a point to talk down to Mike Perry throughout the entire media event, and it definitely felt a bit personal. Don't get me wrong, he was definitely coked up, especially during the face-offs, but at least this time around, he wasn't screaming and frothing at the mouth like we've seen him in the past. But even
now, what do you mean? That was pure entertainment. That's what I want him to be doing. Okay.
And still, the blatant disrespect towards Mike, who played a huge hand in building the company, was a bit uncalled for and just flat out weird. And yeah, in this video, I'm going to be talking about all this and more. But first, let's talk about Coke. Check out these clips from last weekend's BKFC event in Manchester.
The habit for people is to reach. We all do that.
Yes.
Frame, yeah? I want to see frames. People don't frame. It's different. As he said, this man is an Olympic gold medalist and a former two-time world champion. And he enjoyed it. He looked like he fucking enjoyed it. Mark Floyd, great fight, gentlemen. I'm for that.
I'll tell you what happened. The first minute, straight away, he was looking for the head holder. So it took me a bit, oh my God, what the fuck? So I was
Yeah. What is that, bruh? What is he doing?
cut straight away, and I had to adjust. But it was difficult.
Only a bare knuckle, baby. Welcome to a legend.
This is an S-tier coked up Conor moment. Mind you, this is the same guy who's been saying that he's going to fight at the White House in like 9 months. Now going back to this press conference, to Conor's credit, he did seem more sober than the last time we saw him, but there's definitely moments where you see him squirming around in his seat or darting his eyes back and forth like a crazy person. But after the brief pause to set up the face-offs, this guy for sure railed some lines in the back, because when he came back out, he was clearly gacked out of his mind. But you know what? Conor being publicly hopped up on coke wasn't even the most embarrassing part about all of this. The worst part about his performance here was him constantly throwing shade at Mike, where it ultimately turned into a heated back and forth between them. I mean, just going back to the clip that I showed you at the start of this video, it was pretty uncalled for to disrespect Mike the way that he did. And I'm sure it was the coke talking here, but I just think it was unprofessional to threaten to cut Perry from the promotion if he doesn't bring his A game to his upcoming fight. And you can clearly tell that David Feldman is not happy with what Conor says here based on the way that he hangs his head down. You know,
I can hear the coke talking.
Really wonder what Feldman thinks about partnering with McGregor now that it's been well over a year since he named him co-owner of the company. Like, I'm sure that he doesn't hate it, seeing as McGregor is bringing a ton of eyes to the BKFC, but at the same time, it has to be a headache working with him a lot of the time. From going off script and promising double pay for fighters out of the blue to publicly threatening to fire their biggest star over some bizarre personal vendetta, I can only imagine how much Conor stresses out Feldman behind closed doors. In this case, I'm sure the juice is worth the squeeze, but I'm also sure that it's not all sunshine and rainbows being business partners with someone as unpredictable
as but is business ever all sunshine and rainbows? You know what I'm saying? There's always going to be ups and downs. There's always going to be disagreements. That's part of business, bro. It's not always going to be smooth and dandy. You got to take the sacrifices. Is it worth having Conor McGregor at the head of this thing? Probably yes, but will it come with some other problems? For sure.
McGregor. Also, I gotta stand up for Mike a little bit. I wouldn't even say that I'm a huge fan of the guy, but he deserves a lot more respect, seeing as he put the entire company on his back for years when nobody cared or even knew about the BKFC. He was the face of the promotion for over 2 years before Conor came along, and he's still far and away the biggest star that they have. I really don't think it's an exaggeration to say that Perry put BKFC on the map, and if it weren't for him, then maybe it wouldn't have grown enough to the point where Conor took interest in it. He wasn't a great MMA fighter, and he's done a lot of things outside of the ring that I disagree with, but when it comes to bare knuckle, he's the biggest name in the sport, and I don't think that he deserves having his cokehead boss tell the world that he'll get rid of him if he doesn't like the way that he fights.
What the fuck? One of us get a what is that, bro? They're just punching each other in the stomach. What was that? Oh shit, what happened? Oh. Bro, why is this shit muted?
You gotta fucking fight for that world title, Mike. You've never been a world champion here, so you're in here saying you're this and you're that. You're no world champion. So without a world title here in this promotion, I only start speaking as I spoke when I secured 2 UFC world titles.
Okay.
You know, we made
I beat that world champion twice. I knocked him out twice in a different sport. So if I mean, look, I'm going to beat Jeremy's ass on Saturday. Whatever they
your
call
next
me with,
fight is
I
for a
accept.
world title.
If the big
That will
money
move the
fight ends
needle.
up being fighting Dylan Dennis in MMA, or how about me and Conor at the White House? You need to fight an American who can win.
Conor, you're not still in the sport, brother. You're supposed to be the promoter here, bro.
Exactly. That's what I thought. I'm the only one here fighting.
I do see where both guys are coming from. On one hand, I can totally see why Conor and the BKFC want to push Mike towards a title fight, but on the other hand, I understand why Mike would want to keep his options open. Let's be real, even when he was in the UFC, I don't think any of us ever thought that Perry ever really cared about becoming a champion. He's always given me the impression that he's a mentally unhinged dude that just likes to fight and wants to make a living doing it, and frankly, there's nothing wrong with that. And although I understand Conor's position in getting their biggest star to be a title holder, I don't think that yelling at him and belittling him at a press conference is the right way to do it.
Your next fight, if you get through this, has got to be for a world title. You should be climbing for a world title here in this organization. Not trying to piggyback around and do
my
this
King of
bullshit. No one
Violence is a
cares.
world title.
No one cares about this
Who
other
cares
bullshit.
about that bum that I knocked out twice? Obviously nobody.
Listen,
He's nobody.
he's the middleweight world champion, and you're the fucking. You're just. We
Well,
made
then I'll
you.
beat him again. I've already said I
Who
would.
made
They
you
never
can
called
break
me
you.
and asked
Who
me to
made
fight
you
for
can
it.
break you. Who built you can kill you. You're fighting
That's
for the
not
world
true.
title. If you get.
That's not always true. I've seen that. Who made you can kill you. That's not always true, bro. Sometimes you just outgrow who made you, bro. Simple as that.
Through this. That's how straight. Otherwise, you're fucking nothing. And if you don't
Like we
perform,
could say Thugger made Gunner, but can Thugger end Gunner? Nope.
Yeah, we'll
you're
see
gone.
how that goes.
If you
Just
don't
like you
perform,
can fire me,
you can
right?
go and do all these Mickey Mouse fights that no one gives a fuck about. That'll generate nothing, and we won't give a fuck here at Bare Knuckle.
I really disagree with the way that Conor's treating Mike. He's acting like Mike isn't the biggest asset that they currently have, and even more importantly, he's making it seem like Mike isn't a major reason behind why the BKFC is where it is today. You can leave.
Yeah, but it's entertainment, right? So at the end of the day, Conor doing that is riling people up. It's getting people talking. Oh man, how could Conor disrespect the best person in the BKFC or whatever the case may be? It gets the clicks. It gets, the views. If you're just glazing him all day and respecting him, no one would care. Unfortunately, that's just how it works in this social media age.
Feed a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, and if Mike wants to pursue big money fights, then I feel like that's his own prerogative. Also, Conor saying we made you is a bit of a stretch. Who the fuck is we? Perry believed in the promotion way
Conor
before
wasn't even
McGregor
there.
saw it as a good business investment. Imagine working at a company for years, and all of a sudden a new boss comes in, starts pushing you around, and diminishes all the work that you've done. I would be pissed too. A part of me kind of wants to see Mike call Conor on his bluff to see if he actually has the balls to get rid of their biggest star. Because the truth is, I think the BKFC needs Mike just as much as Mike needs the BKFC. Mike
Well,
is
the Coke will give him the balls to do it.
a perfect fit at BKFC, and he's easily the most interesting fighter on the roster, and if they get rid of him, they're fucked. What other star do they even have on their roster? This guy? This guy? This guy? Conor says that Mike can go do Mickey
Who's
Mouse
that?
fights that nobody cares about, but without Mike, BKFC's stock goes down massively.
You've never been a world champion. You
Why do they call Bryce at all, bro? Isn't he a bare knuckle specialist? Call Bryce. He could be your biggest star.
chance here.
You're downplaying everything. The mockery. You haven't fought here. Why don't you come get
I own this fucking thing. What are you talking about? I'm the owner. I book the matches. You need to climb for a world title. Otherwise, you're here today, gone tomorrow. A fart in Michael Perry, a fart in the wind. That'll be fucking you if you don't climb for a fucking world title.
It's more than any fight you're doing. You ain't fighting nobody.
Yeah, I'm coming back in the White House. You're trying to
shit around
clamor
your
for it
mouth
and switch
anymore.
roles. You're fighting for that world title if you get through this weekend.
Again, I see where both guys are
Conor needs to realize he ain't no fighter in this organization.
coming from. Conor and Mike both want different things for Mike, but Perry said it best that Conor's downplaying what he's done and mocking him. Mike put the BKFC on the map, whereas Conor's name got him his job as the co-owner. Now that I think about it, this press conference was a really good example of McGregor's inexperience as a promoter. I'm sure that he's happy to play hardball with his fighters and all, but I think that there's a fine line between being a boss that wants to get their way and being a boss that bullies their employees. And especially with a guy like Mike who clearly doesn't respond well to being pushed around, I think Conor's tactics or lack thereof might not work out the way he's expecting it to. And I'll just say this, if David Feldman allows Conor to cut Mike, I'm not gonna watch the BKFC anymore. Also, Mike brings up a very good point here. Between the two of them, he's the only one who's actually fighting, not just talking about fighting. Of course, Conor says that he's going to be fighting at the White House. In fact, he says it's already a done deal, but talk is cheap, and Conor's been doing a whole lot of talking lately. Sure,
Yeah.
Conor's one of the bosses at
Yeah, and Conor's latter career, in the latter half of his career, is a lot of yap, not enough. or action. You know what I'm saying?
KFC, and he's allowed to manage his company how he wants, but I think that this press conference was a bad look for him. Publicly feuding with your biggest star on stage while also trying to make him look bad cannot be good for business. And I don't know if Conor's just trying to be the kingpin of his company or if he actually has a personal issue with Mike, but I feel like he should be showing him a lot more respect for all the work that he's put in. Anyways, that's the video.
Maybe a part of him wishes he was where Mike was. You know, maybe a part of him wants to be back there, the one chasing the titles. Maybe he's living vicariously through Mike, you know what I mean? So therefore, he feels like, nah, I want you to do this, because this is what he would do if he was in Mike's situation. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, at the end of the day, it's hard to take the fight out of the dog, man. You know, he's been doing it all his life. So he's always going to feel like confrontation is a part of him when it comes to McGregor. You know what I'm saying? But he needs to learn his roles, bro. You can't be the head of this organization fighting the fighters, bro. Like, okay, this is not WWE, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is real shit, bro. This is bare knuckle FC, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a certain level of respect to know your place as the promoter or co-owner. And Perry knows his place as the fighter. The all this back and forth, what, that's for the fighters. That's not for you, Conor. That was your old life. Here, you're just here to hype shit up and get shit cracking. Make sure this shit look good. Not to now belittle fighters, especially your top fighter. Like, I can see the play that maybe mentally Conor's trying to, you know, liven up the show with downplaying Perry and maybe trying to put a battery in his back. But at the same time, bro, there's a line. Okay? This is still a professional setting at the end of the day. You can't just be bullying people, telling them they'll be fired, what. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Farts in the wind. That's what they call them, bro. Farts in the wind. That's crazy, bro. That's utter disrespect, boy. The hell? Anyway, it's your boy Dwayze Blaze. Like, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to ITP MMA Live for the visuals. We appreciate it. Love y'all. Stay blessed. It's a brand new day. Oh. Okay.